Here's what King of the Hill would look like in live action. First up, we have to cast Hank Hill, the patriarch of everyone's favorite Arlen, Texas-based family. To start, I'm going to rip off an old ScreenRant article because, frankly, it gets a lot right, beginning with Tom Hanks as Hank Hill. Something about Hanks just feels right, like he's the perfect guy to instill those American values and no-nonsense attitude into the character. My only qualm with Hanks is that he is a bit too old for the part, so if we go with him, then we'll be making something more akin to the new iteration of King of the Hill, wherein our seller of propane and propane accessories has significantly aged. Although I think Hank still wouldn't be quite as old as Tom Hanks is now, so that's a bit of a that's a bit of a problem. A young option might be Pedro Pascal. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Please stop commenting. No, actually, a good younger option for Hank would be Nick Offerman. Seeing him clean-shaven in Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning makes it pretty clear that he could take on the role, and his dry sense of humor would fit Hank just right. For my third option, let's go with Brendan Fraser. I feel like he's a strong middle-aged option that looks enough like the character while also having the acting talent to pull off a strong take that doesn't just feel like a cheap imitation. Of course, none of these guys are super young, so let's go ahead and design the rest of the cast around a modern, aged interpretation, a la the upcoming sequel series. For Hank, I'm going with Brendan Fraser. In the role, he's age-appropriate for this iteration, and I think most looks the part. Now, by aging up the characters, it's even easier to cast Hank's son Bobby, who in our version is a full-grown adult. My first pick has got to be Cooper Hoffman, the son of the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman, who you can next see in the Stephen King adaptation The Long Walk, but who my fellow cinephiles will best remember for his role in Licorice Pizza. Jacob Wysocki could also make for a reasonably good, bigger version of Bobby Hill. Brennan Lee Mulligan could also fill the role, since he's an accomplished comedic talent. It doesn't matter though, I've already made my pick. Cooper Hoffman it is, come on. It's gotta be Cooper Hoffman. Duh. Then there's Peggy Hill, the best substitute Spanish teacher on her block. The aforementioned ScreenRant article suggested Laura Dern, and I gotta say that's not a bad idea. She would no doubt be happy to play the braggadocious Peggy Hill, and she's got a great face for the role. Sandra Bullock could also fill Peggy's oversized shoes. Her background in comedy is really what I'm looking at here. She's got that part down and would no doubt have a hell of a time getting across Peggy's eccentricities. I could also see Robin Wright in the role. She's another one who just looks about right for older Peggy in my eyes, and I don't know, I just really like Robin Wright. Out of all three though, I'm sticking with Sandra Bullock. She's got the comedy timing down, and I could see her making a fool of herself with a ton of the necessary charisma to still pull off a likable character. For Luann, Hank and Peggy's ditzy niece, let's start with Alicia Debnam Carey from Fear the Walking Dead. She's another suggestion from that ScreenRant article, and I can't deny she's got the right look for Luann. Vic Michaelis, another Dropout alum, could fill the role given a blonde-to-die job. She's used to playing a more intelligent type of character with a dry sense of humor, but she's also a talented comedian, and I believe that she could find her inner Luann just fine. But how about, I don't know, Jennifer Lawrence. Maybe this is just my rogue casting director coming out to play, but I think she could play it dumb and put in a memorable small role as Luann. I think I'll stick with Alicia Debnam Carey though, given that she trades that brunette look for blonde. I think that she could really pull it off. Okay, so how about Hank's friends? Let's start with Dale Gribble, everyone's favorite neighborhood conspiracy theorist and professional exterminator. Michael Rooker could certainly fill the role, as he's proven time and time again that he can play characters who are a little off upstairs. Another option would be Neil Patrick Harris, who perhaps most looks like the on-screen character. And hey, throw skinny Christian Bale in there. Why not? You know he could do it. Neil Patrick Harris, the role goes to you though. The look is just too perfect. Boomhauer might be the easiest casting choice of the bunch. Obviously, it would have to go to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4's very own Matthew McConaughey. I'm tempted to not even follow my own rules here and list anyone else. If we can't get McConaughey, then what's even the point of including the character? For the sake of maintaining the show's unwavering commitment to quality. How about Bill Hader in the role? He's got a knack for voices, so there's certainly a chance he could accurately imitate Boomhauer's distinctive, fast-paced mumble.
Or like the dang old candle in wind, man. It don't matter, man. It's all the oldies, old time. You know what I think, man? Like them dang old, I think, therefore you are, man.
Glenn Howerton could also work. He's perhaps the closest looks-wise to Boomhauer, and like Hader, he has a knack for voices. And you know what? This is a dang old tough one. I'll tell you what. When I started, it seemed obvious that McConaughey would be the top of the pile, but honestly, Glenn Howerton looks phenomenal in the role. I'm going against the grain on this one and picking Glenn Howerton. God help me on the comments, but I like him. Finally, to round out the core gang, we need to cast Bill Dauterive. Like with Boomhauer, there is an obvious answer to this one, John C. Reilly. Bill is a schlubby loser with a heart of gold, and that basically describes half of John C. Reilly's career up to this point. Stephen Root would certainly make for a great alternative, however. He voiced Bill in the show, so it would make sense to cast him in the live-action version, what with him being a highly capable real-world actor and all that jazz. David Koechner could also work, although I feel like his style is a bit too brash for a sensitive little snowflake like Bill. And this one, I'm tempted to go with the popular consensus. Reilly would rock it as Bill, but I'm gonna go with Stephen Root. It just feels wrong to take the role away from him. So there you have it for casting. There are still more in the cast, but that's your primary ensemble and the ones most likely to show up in the present day iteration of the show. I like to think of our version as a sort of transitional film between seasons of the new King of the Hill, giving us a look into different dimensions of these characters and showcasing the realistic nature of the series. In fact, I'd love to see it center around Bobby Hill's struggles as an adult and explore whatever it is he's been up to all these years. Presumably, this would involve him contending with his often close-minded parents, their conservative values, and Hank's sometimes lacking parenting skills, while also showing the depths of kindness and understanding with each of them. Or something like that. I don't know. What do you think? Does a live-action King of the Hill make sense, or is this yet another beloved animated property you hope those goons in Hollywood keep their lousy mitts off of? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching Screen Rant.